left and right, and just being really stubborn, and I just feel like I'm at a wall, and I don't know how to break it from it. I don't even know what to do from here. Well, parenting, man, it's tough sometimes. You gotta get your wits in. I've been there myself a number of times with you guys, and there's always a good time to, to use their firmness and hold to it, but maybe this is the time to kind of look at it a little different instead of just the discipline, kind of look at the whole process as an element of just like teaching. Well, what do you mean by teaching? Sounds that different from discipline? Just put your arm around them and just shift that mode. Then we sense that moment, kind of the Holy Spirit right there with us, like, hey, I'm ready to listen. Then you can kind of ask them some questions. You can start kind of picking his mind, see what's going on. And at the end of that, just again, set those expectations. Be sure you're complimenting on what's great. Perhaps that's a lot like what God does with us. The Lord does that with me quite a bit. And just kind of revisiting something, looking at it a little differently, giving me some time by myself. And I think I've learned that you can kind of sit and wait on things, take a few moments yourself, just kind of go, deep, open up the Word, and God's got a lot of wisdom, man. He's got that throne of grace. Kind of see what He's saying to you. Maybe you'll get something different from what I'm taking. Maybe you'll kind of see the same thing. Just kind of go to Him and find what I've said. It seems like that's what the Spirit's doing. Let me know what goes on.
Has he calmed down at all? Do you think you're getting anywhere with him?
I don't know. I just feel frustrated. I feel helpless. I feel overwhelmed, and I'm not sure how to deal with this right now. I'm gonna call my dad.
Yeah, that makes sense, Dad. I'm going to take it to prayer, and then I'll let you know what happens.
Yeah, just keep working. God will give you some wisdom there. So, all right, my son, love you. God be with you, lad.
Love you too. Bye.
Yep, all right.
My dad always has the right thing to say. Every single time I go through something, he's always got just practical wisdom. I really feel like he has it together as a father. Ooh.
Oh, Lord God, man, you've been my help in time of need, Lord, and just feeling helpless and overwhelmed, and just ask that whatever wisdom I share with Kobe, Lord God, at this time, he would find wisdom. So I just need your wisdom and help, Lord. Guide him. Thank you, Lord. You've been my rock in time of need. Be glorified in this situation. Amen.
Pretty real. Frustrated, lonely, confused. Man, it's a great privilege to be a father. Pretty intimidating, pretty scary. A great opportunity. Listen, church, I want you to know we got some great dads and some great men in this church. This week, there are always challenges when you have a family, a large family like our church. I got a call Friday night, maybe. Friday night from Sydney, and he said, man, he was crying. And he said, Zachary is in ICU. He's got something on his brain, and it's an abscess, and they've got to operate and drain the fluid out of his brain, which is a very, very serious thing. And the doctors say, it's 50-50. It could go either way anytime you have brain surgery. And so I could not get there. Sydney was very upset, as you would expect. That's your boy, and I couldn't get there. And so I texted a group of men, and that night, I believe 2 of our men went to the hospital. It was late, and prayed with him and sat with him. And the next day for surgery, I know 3 of our men went there. I couldn't get there. And there's going to be times like that. And the larger our church grows, the less I can do. And if it's all about me, then we're wrong anyway. We're messed up anyway. It's not about, oh, I need my pastor. Well, you know, if I can get there, I will. But I might not be able to. It's not about me. You need your Father, your Heavenly Father, and there are other men in your life in this church that can go and be what you need and minister to you. And so I wanted to say thank you to this band of brothers that I lean on and that I call upon. And you guys are my heroes. We can't do a church without you. And God has called men to be with the responsibility of being the spiritual leaders. That is not in any way condescending to the ladies. But God has given the man the role in the home of the spiritual leader. And men, we must assume that. That is our role. And I am so honored and thankful for the men in this church that lead, that are strong, stand in the gap. Thank you. Thank you for that. A good day to celebrate that. All right, before we get into Psalm 101, real quick, this Saturday, I wanted to wait and mention that now. This Saturday is our parade, guys, okay? So we are going to meet at 3:30 at the parking lot back here, not out here, but back here, and we'll get the float ready and get on it and get placed and get organized, and then we'll drive up and get in line. We're usually the last float because we're always the biggest and the best, you know, but they like to put us last. So, I want you to know that we need everybody out for the parade because we are out there in force. If you have trouble walking, you can ride. We got a big old trailer. And so we want to get you on that float. And if you can walk, we'll walk around it and we'll go out and greet people and smile and be happy and show them that Jesus is in love with them. And so don't not come Saturday. Come to the parade. After that, there's food and there's an event there behind the fire station in that area, and there's a concert, and we just want to take over. We want to be a presence. We are the community church of Mount Pleasant. I promise you this, you will have a good time. You'll laugh. You'll have fun. We'll have fun together as a family. And we'll have an impact in our community. Now, the shirts are out in the lobby. I hope you saw those. Hunter, will you be there? Hunter will be there. And so go by and get your shirt because it looks so good when we're all out there with our shirts, you know, just like these ants, just everywhere. And it's a great present for us to have. And so the kids also, if they have the green ones, that's perfect. So this Saturday, it's not just about a fun day. It's about a strategic opportunity for our church. Twice a year we have this parade, Christmas and this time. Twice a year, and this is one of our opportunities. So join us. Well, I'm new, I don't know. Join us. I'm glad my new friend John is here today. John, welcome. Thank you for visiting us today. We're glad you're here. Will you help me welcome John? It's funny. I love to prepare sermons, and I love to study. Monday is my study day, my favorite day in the world, Monday, and I just lose myself in studying and preparing and praying, and I love putting sermons together. But this one is always a challenge because it's to me, Father, Daddy. And so I'm excited to be able to share some thoughts with you. And the thought is, what makes a godly man? I want to talk to you today about some things that characteristics or traits or habits in a man's life. And I'm not just going to talk to daddies today. I want to talk to all of us men. all of us, young men, old men, everyone. Every man perhaps will not have children of his own. Every man that has children is not a daddy. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, I get a little old-fashioned on some of this stuff. If you're big enough to have a baby, you be man enough to take care of that baby. That's what it means to be a man. You take care of your responsibilities. You be responsible. You answer for your decisions. Quit blaming other people. That's why we're in such a mess in this world. It's always somebody else's fault. No, it's not. Look in the mirror and be a man. And you answer for your decisions. Give me a thought. Give me a word that comes to your mind when we think of what does it take to be a man of God. Give me a word. What? Oh, that's a good one. That's good. Accountable. What else?
Example.
What?
Example.
Responsible.
Courage.
Integrity.
Courage.
Faith. Courage.
Determination.
Determination. Woo. Different. Responsible.
Righteous.
What?
Honesty.
Honesty.
Obedient.
Wholesome. Obedient. Man. What?
Humble.
Humble. Oh boy, these are good. Y'all preaching the message today. This is good.
Provider.
Provider.
Faithful.
I want y'all to think about some of these words. And I want us to talk today about what does it take? What does it take? Because I'm going to tell you, you know, we can gripe and whine about why we're in such a mess. And we often do too much. Probably going to trace it back to the fact that we don't have enough men in this country that are being men. Showing love. Showing love. I knew a good man once. He's in heaven now, and he was a friend of mine. And I've asked his son to come and share with you a little bit about what he thinks it takes to make a godly man. Cecil, would you come up? I knew Cecil's daddy, and this man was a godly man. He was all those things that you mentioned. He was not perfect, but he was a godly man. And I asked Cecil, I said, man, why don't you come up and talk to us a little bit about what your daddy was all about. So I'm going to let him do that right now. And then we're going to dive into Psalm 101.
Thank you very much, Richard. Some of you folks wonder why we counsel evening services.
Uh-oh.
When you get a preacher and a warrior on the stage, you got to be here the rest of the day, folks. This has been very tough for me. Pastor Snow asked me a couple of weeks to do this. My father, let me tell you a little bit about him first, because I understand where he's coming from. My dad was determined. He was persistent, and he never gave up. He met my mother. If you saw that little church on the screen earlier this morning, that's another but James. That's part of the story. My mother was a very Christian woman. And my dad's parents had such a sort of got away from church, but his grandparents were really Christians, Bible-believing, God-fearing Christians. And they knew the Bible. My dad would always say, my grandparents can quote you the Bible. They always were sitting on the front porch of their house when we go. Dad said they're going to be there, and they're going to be reading the Bible. And so when I was, my dad would go around this little church with the windows. And on Sunday morning, instead of going into church, he was looking at Mama inside the church, peeping in through the windows. So she wouldn't pay him any attention because he wasn't in church. But he liked to play baseball. And he was a good baseball player. And when he was at bat one day, she was sitting with his sister and said, "Cecil, if you hit a home run, May will go out with you." It went out of the park. I think God was in his whole plan. God was in his life. God knew what Cecil Jacobs was going to be. My father got into the war, World War II. I was born premature. And when I was born, the doctors told him, says, "We can't do anything for you." You got to remember, this is back in 1941, okay? Some of you people, well, you read it in history books. 1941, he took me to these grandparents who sat on the porch and was reading their Bible. They told him, "Leave that boy alone. Leave him here, you folks get away." So they left me there, and they pulled me through. This was the beginning of what my father, he was beginning to follow Christ, and what Christ was telling him. This story goes on in my life some, but we don't have time for that. I asked Brother David how much time I had today. He says, short and sweet because people get bored. I want to say, what about your message, preacher? I think most of us, all of us in fact, that sit here all day and listen to preachers study because he makes that Bible real. You can read it, you can't see it, but he makes it tell us a story. And I love him to death for that. And my father loved him to death too. Anyway, my father was a prayer warrior. He believed in God. He believed with all his heart. On Sunday morning, you didn't ask, "Dad, are we going to church?" And he didn't ask you if you was going to church. You went to church. You went to church that morning, you went to church that night, and you went to church on Wednesday night. My father believed in worshiping God. My father would work hard to provide for his family. My father would pray. When I went off to school, my father I sort of wandered away from what I had been taught, the liberal minds and liberal teachings. But my father had belief in God, faith in God, that I would come back where I was raised, the way I was raised. And I thank him for that. If you were sick, my father would sit there with you. He would be there for you. He would be there praying for you. My mother would get sick. He would be there sitting with her. He'd be praying for her. In fact, not only do we go to church on Sunday and Wednesday night, but during the summer, my father had absolutely no training. Didn't have any training in music. But every summer, we knew that my father was going to lead the music at these country churches, and we was going to have to go to all these revivals. There wasn't any question, are you going to revival with me Sunday night? We were in those revivals, and we were here to serve God. That's what my father would do. And my father believed in prayer so much, so he had a granddaughter who was born 1 pound 3 ounces. That's how much she weighed. And I'm here to tell you today, based on his prayers and his belief and God's faithfulness, that girl is entering East Tennessee State University next year as a student. So that's what God does for you. You know, my father was born August the 7th, 1919. In 2007, God took his bride of 67 years away, took her to heaven. Needless to say, my father had a tough time with that. He got so mad at my mother for dying that he went out in the front yard and cut every bush she had down, like she could help it. You know she would love to be here, but that wasn't God's plan. God's plan was to have my father spend a little bit more time on this earth. And what my father would do, I remember in 2010, June the 16th, 2010, I got a call. I was going to practice on Wednesday night. I was going to this little church that I was going to. I got a call. Said, "Brother, Daddy needs to go to the hospital." Says, "I don't want to," for some reason, this is why I don't understand the reason yet. But for some reason, my brother didn't want to ride my daddy to the hospital in his car. They lived in Shreveport, North Carolina. The ambulance wouldn't take my daddy to the hospital out of the county. I said, I'll be there. I went to Shreveport. I put my father in the car. My father got in the car. We had to carry him in the car. I was taken to the hospital in Hickory because that's where a specialist was. I didn't know where I was going to. I really, to this day, do not know what hospital I was going to, nor do I know a doctor. But my dad was over there. He was in the car with me. My brother was following. God jumped in my car in Lincoln, North Carolina. My dad took his last breath sitting in my car. He met Mama, and Jesus walked him across the river Jordan into heaven. And there he's seen today. And we went to the services in Sherwood, North Carolina, in a receiving line. And someone came through, a post lady came through our line. And she says, I want to tell you something about your father. I said, what's that? She said, I'm going to miss your dad. Because every day when I am delivering mail to your home, your dad is on the front porch reading the Bible, just like his grandparents. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
I knew we were in trouble when he brought his yellow note legal pad up. Good perspective. What makes a godly man? Well, Psalm 101 does not say with an introduction, these are the things that make a godly man, but I think it's a good illustration for us as we read this, and I want to point out some traits for you in our time today. I will sing of mercy and judgment unto thee, O Lord. I will sing. I will behave myself wisely. In a perfect way. I will behave myself wisely. Oh, when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. That does not mean sinless, that means complete and whole and right. Verse 3, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. My eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. You know what he's saying? I will not tolerate it. I will not be a part of it. I will not be, and listen, it is so much a part of our society today, and I hear it so much, oh, you know, that's no big deal. That's just how things are. No, it's not. Tolerance. You just ought to just tolerate. Not this man. You wouldn't have any of it. Honesty and integrity. So many times we need to sit on our back porch reading the Bible instead of listening to the news and watching people feed us the way we're supposed to think. And watching shows that tell us how we're supposed to live. And that it's okay to use foul language. And it's okay to lie. And it's okay to be misleading and misrepresent the truth. It's okay. I like that. Sitting on the porch reading the Bible. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell in my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord. I want to talk to you about some characteristics. I think they're in your bulletin. I think there's a little outline in there. If you can follow easier that way, that's okay. And I'll just run through them as we think about someone in your life that illustrated to you a godly man. Man, I miss Frankie. I miss Frankie. We've lost some good men in this short life of this church. Men of integrity. Not perfect. Good men. What is a godly man? What makes a godly man? Characteristics, traits, habits. This is a lifestyle. Number one, a godly man is a leader. He's a leader. Now, that does not mean he's the loudest, because a lot of times leaders aren't loud. They step up when somebody needs to step up. When somebody needs to get a visit in the hospital, they step up. When somebody needs a call, when somebody needs encouragement, they are leaders. They take initiative. They don't wait on somebody else to do what's right. I'll do it. Ain't nobody else gonna do it. I got it. That's a leader. Ezekiel 22:30, and I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge, God said, and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it. And sadly, the phrase after that says, but I found none. And remember this, dads, men, at home, at work, at church, we lead, we don't drive. There's a difference. A godly man leads. He doesn't drive. I raised Black Angus cattle on the farm. And every week we'd load them up on the truck and take them you know where. And that, sometimes I had to drive them because they're mean and they're stubborn and they don't want to go in the truck. So, and they're big. Oh, hello, cattle. Would y'all please, could you? Please. No, I had various tools that were helpful. We don't drive people. People are not cattle. They're not animals. We lead. We respect. We don't beat down. We don't guilt people. We lead. Men. Number two, be courageous, man. Be strong. First Chronicles 28:20, and David said to his son Solomon, be strong and of good courage, and do it. Fear not, nor be dismayed, for the Lord God, even my God, will be with you. He will not fail you, nor forsake you, until you have finished all the work for the service of the house of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast. Good word. Unmovable. I love that picture. Plant the flag. Plant it. Stand there. Steadfast. Unmovable. Men. Always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. Number 3. Thank you, Shane. Humility. First Peter 5:6. Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you in due time. Number 4. Characteristics of a godly man, a godly father. He is a server. He's a servant. I love this. I love it. You know, everybody wants to be in charge. The world tells you, here's how to be successful. You get the biggest office with the most staff, the higher up the ladder you can climb. You step on as many people as you need to step on corporately to get there. That's what the world says. Mark 10:45, for even the Son of Man came not to be ministered to. Even Jesus didn't come to be ministered to, but to serve and to give His life a ransom for many. There's no more act that represents to us service than what Jesus did. He gave His life. Number 5, integrity, character. Somebody said it. Honesty, honor. Psalm 15:2. He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. Well, it doesn't matter, preacher. When you lay down your head on your pillow at night, you know. You know. Your wife knows. Your kids know. The people you work with know. God knows. Character. Number 6. Generous. Generous. Giving. Not selfish and greedy. Generous to God and others. Generous with your time. Well, preacher, I'll work 6 days a week and I got one day, that's my day. That's selfish. Well, listen to yourself. It's about you. I deserve it. You know what you deserve? No, let's not talk about what we deserve. But preacher, I deserve it. You deserve hell. Because you're sinning. That's what I deserve. I'm the biggest of sinners. Thank God we don't get what we deserve. Amen. Proverbs 11:24 and 25. Listen to this. Listen to this. There is that scattereth and yet increaseth. And there is that withholdeth more than is meet. But it tendeth to poverty. He's stingy. He's greedy. The liberal soul, one time it's okay to be liberal. The liberal soul shall be made fat. What that means? The more you give, the more you... By the way, another time it says it's okay to be fat in the Bible. So in one verse, you get to be liberal and fat. It's a great book. And it is about lunchtime. Give liberally. Time, talents, attention, not just money. He that watereth shall be watered also himself. Number 7, self-control. Ooh. Discipline. Oh, that's a bad word. The D word. Discipline. Well, preacher, God just made me with a bad temper. Come on, are you really going to say that out loud? So you're going to blame God because you have no self-control? No. No. Proverbs 22:24. Ladies, this is a good one. Make no friendship with an angry man. With a furious man that thou shalt not go. Y'all tell your daughters that verse. I'm not playing. He's a man of wrath and anger. How do you think he's going to treat you? He will abuse you. Thou shalt not go with that man. Number 8, submissive, teachable. Don't be a know-it-all. You know, you ever meet somebody and whatever the conversation, they're the authority. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what you bring up. They already know it all, did it all. They are the authority. Not usually a real popular person. Submissive. 1 Peter 5:5. Likewise, ye younger. Younger is relative. Submit yourself unto the elder. That's not an old wives' tale. That's from the Bible. Respect your elders. If I'm 80 and he's 90, I got to respect him. Why don't we hear more of this in our society today? All right, now watch the rest of this. Yea, all of you. Now we're not just talking about children and younger. All of you be subject one to another. And be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud. God resists the proud. You're not going to get in heaven until you get over yourself and realize, I'm lost. I'm hopeless and I am helpless. God hates pride. God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. Number 9, obedience. Here's a good one. Good short one. John 15:14. If you love me, do what? If you love me, kids, oh Daddy, I love you so much. Well then obey me. It's empty and hollow and shallow if you say something and you don't back it up. Oh Jesus, I love you so much. I'll see you next Sunday. Can't wait to get back out there and see him some more. Woo! It's not love. obey me. Don't tell your daddy you love him unless you're willing to obey him. Okay, let's move on. That was painful. 2 John 1:6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. Obey. Number 10. Man, we're rolling through here. Number 10. A trait of a godly man, he is biblical. He loves this book. He reads it. He thinks about it. He writes it. He quotes it. He texts it. He Facebooks it. He loves it. This book matters to a godly man. He sits on his porch and reads it. He's a truth seeker. John 8:31-32. Then said Jesus to the Jews which believed on him. They're Christians. If you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. It's good to be free. But you're only going to get free through this book. Because this is true. Number 11. Oh man. Number 11. A godly man is productive. He is fruitful. John 15:8. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. So shall ye be my disciples. Listen, church, and this is another sermon. I don't have time. We have to make disciples in this church. We have to be a discipling church. God called us as He left to be ascended to His Father. Go and make disciples, church. Well, that's for the preacher. Make disciples. That's a theological. No! Let me explain. Let me simplify how to make a disciple. Will you be friends with somebody? Can I? Don't get all nervous. Disciple. I'm not equipped. I haven't been to class. Or we need to have this class in our church that makes disciples. Yeah, that's okay. Let me ask you this question. Who are you discipling? Don't put it on me. Who are you discipling? Who are you friends with? Who are you accountable to? Dads, number one, you need to be accountable to your wife. Number two, you need to be discipling, making disciples of your kids. Not the coach, not the teacher. That's great. But you, Daddy, start in your house and make some disciples of your children. It's not a program that you can go buy at the bookstore. You and I are to make disciples. A godly man does that. Number 12, love. John 13:34-35. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this love shall all men know that you're my disciples. If you love one another. I love this church. I love that you love each other. I love that you can't wait on Sundays. I love it. Because that makes us know that this is right. Number 13, be accountable. Hebrews 10:24-25. Let us consider one another to provoke unto love and good works. Provoke unto love, not anger. Not forsaking the assembling ourselves together as the manner of some is. That means some people don't go to church. They forsake that. But exhorting one another, and so much more as you see the day approaching. You know why church is important? To be accountable to each other. And promote and provoke each other to good works. Number 14, he needs to be a man of prayer. Luke 18:1, and he spoke a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. Men. Last one. 15. I don't know how else to say this. A godly man needs to be real. You just need to be authentic. Don't be somebody you're not. You don't have to dress like somebody. You don't have to fix your TV preacher's hair. You don't have to drive a certain car because of something. Just be you. Man, be you. Be who God made you. Be who God's called you to be. You don't have to be like anybody else other than Jesus. Be you. Be authentic. Be real. Church, let's be real. If you need a church and you got to be all religious and puffed up and wear a certain kind, I guarantee you find one. But it's not here. I don't care what you wear. I mean, wear something. I do care. I mess up sometimes. It's not about what you wear. Be authentic before the Lord. Quit playing games on Sundays. Listen to this, 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but God looks on the heart. Just be real. If your kids see Daddy one way out in public, but another way at home, that's a problem. Be real. Be who God's called you to be. That's enough. Well, I'm not perfect. The things that come out of our mouth sometimes. We don't have to be perfect. Be authentic. Okay, that's it, men. Men. What kind of man are you? I could ask your wife. Tall, short, rich, smart, nice, etc. Doesn't matter. That's not what God's after. God's after a man like David. Was David sinless? Did David make some horrible blunders? You know what God said about David? He is a man after my own heart. How about you? I want you to stand. And I want you to bow your head. And I'm going to pray. I'm going to close with this one verse, then we're going to pray. I want you to think about this verse this week, and I want you to remember this verse. Mark chapter 8, verse 36 says this. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? I don't know who you've been trying to impress. I don't know why you've done what you've done or what makes you tick. I don't need to know. It's not God does. God said you can gain the whole world. And what good is it if you lose your own soul? Man, let me ask you a question. The first step to being a godly man is getting to know God. Are you saved today? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you an old-fashioned question. And yes, it's 8 minutes after 12. But let me ask you an old-fashioned question. If you died right now, where would you be forever? Doesn't matter what kind of car you drive or how big your house is. I want for you to be a godly man who starts off by knowing God. So today, if you don't know Him, that's a priority. It all starts there. And after that, we're going to work on being a godly man. And we're going to work on it together because ain't none of us got it. Starting here. Can I be the first to say from this pulpit, I ain't there. Please don't ask my wife. I'm not there. And I never will be. And I don't have to be. Because God extends to me grace. Grace. Here's how I'm going to end it today. Here's what I want you to do. If you can get to your daddy or your husband, I'd like for you to do that right now. If you can get to your daddy or your husband, and we're going to pray. Listen, men, God don't need you to be perfect. Just be you. And you be who God's called you to be. Let's pray. Lord, what an opportunity to be a daddy. Husband. And God, can I get in the front of the line? And say how flawed I am. And how much I fail. So God, I'm just going to ask you to take all that. Take this mess. And God, you do something special. You do your magic. God, I pray that our kids would see you in us. Take our flaws. Make it work. Make up the difference. Lord, help us to sit on our porch and read the Bible. Pray. Thank you for reminding us of some old-fashioned things today. Things that really do matter. And God, don't let life get too hectic for us that we forget to walk away. Lord, I want to thank you for the daddies. Thank you for my daddy. Thank you that he made us go to church. Because it was right. Lord, I pray for that one here today that don't have their daddy. They're a little bit lost, a little bit lonely, a little bit confused. And God, I'm glad you said you would be a father to them. Thank you. Thank you for being a good, good father for us today. Lord, we love you and we thank you. Thank you for letting us be your kids. Now, God, thank you for this band of brothers in this church. Thank you. Bless them. Bless this place. Bless these people. In Jesus' name we pray. No activities tonight. Go be with your family. If you give money, put it in the black box as the Lord leads you. Happy Father's Day. Thanks for being here today. God bless you.